The Raiders beat the Kansas City Chiefs 40-32 on Sunday. And this game really fired me up. And I want to be careful here because I don't want to make Chiefs fans mad. I don't want to make them think I hate their team. I do not root against Kansas City. But I got to say, the Kansas City Chiefs are seen as this really gigantic, unbeatable juggernaut. And it's just not true. On Sunday, the Raiders proved that. Yeah, Kansas City can be beaten. And I think this loss might actually be very good for Kansas City because it might be a wake-up call. They got to focus and play a lot cleaner. Because early on this year, they've given opposing teams a lot of opportunities. And opposing teams simply haven't taken advantage of that. Like, the Chargers should have beat Kansas City. They made a lot of mistakes late. Kansas City won the game. Or the Ravens, for whatever reason, the Baltimore Ravens didn't seem to understand the gravity of the team they're playing against. Multiple times, the Ravens did not go for it on fourth down, fourth and short, in fact. Their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, did not extend plays, didn't do what he does best. And the Patriots, man, I think of 6 moments where the Patriots had blown opportunities where they dropped 2 interceptions on offense. They went to the red zone twice and came away with no points. Also, the Patriots threw 2 really bad, costly interceptions. One of them got taken for a touchdown. So the Patriots threw the game away, quite literally. The Ravens didn't quite understand the gravity of the situation. The Chargers had mistakes late that you can't have. And so, yeah, Kansas City is a juggernaut, for sure. But they can be beaten. But they haven't played a clean game all year. No one's holding Kansas City accountable is kind of my whole point here. They've been kind of like, the Chiefs have been dangling this out for a long time. The Raiders finally grabbed it, took advantage, and got the win. It fired me up because I'm not rooting for Kansas City to lose, but I hate bad football. And teams have been missing opportunities against the Chiefs all year, and the Raiders did everything you need to do to beat them. Now, there's a list of 4 things you need to do to beat Kansas City. It's kind of generic. Like, you're going to look at it and go, well, that could apply to any team. And sure, like, no doubt, right? These are always the goals of every single team, every single game you play. But against Kansas City, you have to nail all 4. If you get only 3 of the 4, you're not going to win the football game. But if you get all 4 things I'm about to list, you're going to beat Kansas City. So number 1, if they make mistakes, you have to make them pay. Number 2, you cannot settle for field goals. You have to go for it on fourth down, fourth and short. Number 3, you got to play your best game. If you don't bring your best to the table, you're not going to beat Kansas City. And number 4, you're going to need some luck. You have to get a little bit lucky to beat Kansas City. So here's how the Raiders got lucky first. So Sammy Watkins, the Chiefs receiver, got hurt in the second quarter, hurt his hamstring. That limited their offense a little bit. The Chiefs also lost their left guard, Kalichi Osemele. Osemele? I want to say his name right. I apologize for that probably mispronunciation. But I've watched a lot of Chiefs football this year. He really brought something extra and special to their offense where he gave them an extra gear. He got them more push in the running game. Unfortunately, he tore tendons in not one knee, but both of his knees. It's an awful injury. I feel bad for him. And I don't know that lucky's the right word to use when a guy tears tendons in both of his knees. That's kind of awful. But I will say it's an advantage that the Raiders got that they could not possibly have game planned for. So from their perspective, I don't know that luck's kind of a crude, unfortunate word, but it did certainly benefit the Raiders. And that's something that you got kind of lucky. Hey, one of their best players got taken out of the game. That definitely helped the Vegas Raiders. Now, you got to play your best game to beat Kansas City. And the Raiders did that in multiple ways. It starts with their quarterback, Derek Carr. This was the best game I've ever seen Derek Carr play in the John Gruden era. A lot of fun to watch. He was 22 for 31 passing, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I got a lot to say, but number 1, I am sure that John Gruden was very, very happy with Derek Carr after the game. He executed so well. I say this thing all the time. I say just drive the car down the road. That's what Derek Carr did. He executed their offense. If you're given easy completions, take them. That's how you make your coach, John Gruden, happy. That's how you win football games. If they give you an easy completion, take it every single time. He also had a great play on 3rd and 18 where Derek Carr slid in the pocket, kept the play alive, extended the play, and threw to Hunter Renfrow for a big gain. He had a great touchdown to Nelson Aguilar. I loved it. And I also thought it was cool that Derek Carr did not flinch when he had an early interception. On the second drive for the Raiders, Derek Carr threw a pick. And it was actually kind of weird because it was the right decision. He had Darren Waller open, a good decision throwing the ball, but he threw the ball high. And I think part of that was because of pressure. Pressure definitely affected the accuracy of the throw. But I don't hold that against Derek Carr, that interception, because in the end, they won. And number two, he bounced back. He actually, it was first of all, it was the right decision to throw the ball there. He just missed the throw, and it ended up being okay. I really, given everything he did after that, I thought Derek Carr, I'm fine with a pick. He had a great game. He did so many little things well. And just an awesome game for Derek Carr. Now, Henry Ruggs, the rookie receiver for the Raiders, finally made an impact. I've been waiting all year for this moment. The rookie receiver had 2 catches for 118 yards and a touchdown. He really only had 2 catches. That's it. He had 2 catches on the day. But they were 2 really big catches. One was a contested catch against man coverage, and the other was a 72-yard bomb for a touchdown. And I've been waiting, again, for a long time for this to happen. He started the year injured, and finally this was the game where Henry Ruggs came alive and made a big impact. And I think it's kind of funny. The Raiders, they don't use Henry Ruggs very often. If you watch the Raiders play, Henry Ruggs isn't even on the field much at all. Like they play a lot of big personnel packages, a lot of tight ends. They're running the ball heavily. And even when I felt like they could have had Henry Ruggs in the game, he wasn't. I don't know what's going on there, but it's very clear that when he is in the game, they send him vertical. And the Raiders want to use play action and then create big plays and stretch the field with Henry Ruggs. And he had that big contested catch for a big gain, the 72-yard touchdown. And the Raiders are hoping you guard Henry Ruggs with man coverage. They're like, please do it. We dare you. We'll throw it. We'll beat you. And then if you don't do that, maybe you double team him and you open up the field for Darren Waller underneath. It really helps the Raiders. But that's the very limited way they're using Henry Ruggs early on. I don't know if it's because he's a rookie or what, but I want to see a bigger role come to be a part of. I want to see, I guess what I'm saying is I want to see Henry Ruggs be part of the Raiders offense a little bit more. But early on, this is the way they're going to use him. Stretch the field, make big plays. We finally saw it pay off a little bit for the Raiders on Sunday, and it was cool to see. Now, the Raiders' defense also played really, really good. Last year, they got shredded by Patrick Mahomes. It was ugly. It was awful. I remember there was like a third and 27, and Mahomes still threw an easy touchdown. It was just bad. I watched that Raiders game. Oh boy, their defense, especially against Patrick Mahomes last year, was really, really bad. And this year, they showed how much progress they've been making. First of all, the Raiders defense took away big throws down the field, but they also kept doing their job. As Patrick Mahomes catches a snap, takes a 3-step drop, nothing's there, he extends a play, runs around, time is ticking off the clock. It takes a long time. You have to guard your receiver for like 14 seconds, which is, by football standards, a really long time. And you got to give the Raiders a lot of credit. They stuck with it. They did their job the entire time, even when Patrick Mahomes extended plays. And it's just really, really cool to see. The Raiders did a great job. Now, it also leads me to how the Raiders made Kansas City pay when the Chiefs made mistakes. I loved seeing that because the Patriots dropped not 1, 2 interceptions against Patrick Mahomes, which if you're going to beat Patrick Mahomes, you cannot drop interceptions when he gives you an opportunity to do that. Now, the Raiders, they caught their opportunity. They had a gigantic interception. They took it all the way back to the 2-yard line. That's a huge play. You can't miss on those if you're going to beat the Chiefs. Kansas City had the ball 6 times in the first half. They scored on 4 of those 6 drives. Technically 5. We'll get into that in a minute. But they had 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And the Chiefs offense, I'll be honest, they were rolling early on. It felt like, wow, Kansas City, it's a typical game. They got a lot of momentum. But on those 2 non-scoring drives, penalties hurt Kansas City. They had 2 big holding calls. One even got a touchdown called back. Instead of a touchdown, they had 1st and 20 because of offensive holding. That's a big deal. And another thing is that in the past when Kansas City has played the Raiders, third down and long has not been a deterrent for Patrick Mahomes. And in this game on Sunday, the Raiders did a great job stopping him on third and long. So those penalties helped the Raiders. And then later in the second half, KC missed 2 key third downs. First was one where Mahomes missed Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was running across the field. Travis Kelce settled down in the hole, and Patrick Mahomes threw the ball as if he was going to just keep running. That's a big miss that helped the Raiders. And then second, on a 3rd and 9, the Raiders' coverage did not flinch when Patrick Mahomes extended the play. Max Crosby got a sack, but it was in part because of the great coverage downfield. That's a testament to the Raiders. They did a great job, and I got to give them credit. They played very, very well on defense. Now, there was a key moment where I talked about it a minute ago. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. There's a key moment, though, where Kansas City scored to put them ahead 21-10. And it would have been easy for the Raiders to let the game get away from them at that point. It was starting to feel like a typical Kansas City game where, they're down 21-10, and the Raiders had to respond at that moment. Because if you don't, the game could very easily get away from you. The Raiders did. They made it 21-17, and by halftime, the game was tied 24-24. And there's a name that nobody's been talking about around the league. It's a guy named Devontae Booker. He's the number 2 running back for the Raiders, and when Le'Veon Bell got released by the New York Jets, I saw a lot of people say, wow, maybe the Raiders should sign Le'Veon Bell, give him a good 1-2 punch with Josh Jacobs. And I think the Raiders already feel like they have a good 1-2 punch with Josh Jacobs because they have a second running back named Devontae Booker. He had a big 43-yard run. There was even a long scoring drive where Josh Jacobs didn't touch the ball one time. The entire drive, Devontae Booker was in at running back. That's a big deal. The Raiders have confidence in their number 2 running back, and I've never heard anybody talk about Devontae Booker. Now, I don't listen to a lot of content. Maybe that's the problem, but I didn't know this name Devontae Booker. And as I've been watching this year, the Raiders really like him. They're giving him a lot of touches and a lot of opportunities, and he's doing pretty well. Now, this is my favorite part of how the Raiders beat the Chiefs on Sunday. They went for it on 4th down multiple times. And I looked at that and went, yes, finally, because if you're going to beat Kansas City, you have to go for it on 4th and short. I remember watching the Chiefs and Ravens game, and on 4th and 1, Baltimore kicked a field goal instead of going for it. A couple times I went, man, what are you doing? Do you not understand? 3 points against Kansas City is not helpful. You need to score touchdowns to beat them. And how about this? The Raiders on 4th and 1 from the 15-yard line. Instead of kicking a field goal, I'm pretty sure John Gruden watched that Ravens game and said, man, you need a touchdown. You don't need a field goal. On 4th and 1, the Raiders go for it. They got it. That led to later in the drive as Josh Jacobs' touchdown run. Bang. That's a huge deal in this game. Go for it on 4th down against Kansas City. Why would you not? On 4th and short, you don't need a touchdown. The other quarterback's the league MVP, the best quarterback in the league. You need to score touchdowns to beat Kansas City and the Chiefs. And I love that, man. That's how you beat Kansas City. That's awesome. And also, by the way, later at the very end of the game, 2 minutes left, right after the 2-minute warning, another 4th and 1 for the Raiders. They had the ball just past the 45-yard line, and they were up 40-32. That's an 8-point lead. 2 minutes left. You have the ball, an 8-point lead. Instead of punting it away to Patrick Mahomes, they said, you know what? We're going to go for it. And I watching it at home, I went, oh, yes, have the stones to do it. Because what you can't do is give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. Why would you give the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now the ball? It makes him or Russell Wilson. You can debate that. It doesn't matter. My point is, you don't give that guy the ball less than 2 minutes left with an opportunity to take the lead and beat you, or at least tie the game and beat you. And so the Raiders went for it. They got it. They won the game 40-32. And I at home went, yes, John Gruden understand. There are 4 things you got to do to beat the Raiders. You cannot be afraid to risk it, by the way. You can't be afraid to not go for it on 4th down. But here are the 4 things. And again, you need to do all 4. If you get 3 of the 4, you're not going to beat Kansas City. But if you do these 4 things, you'll beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 1, you got to play your best game. You got to bring your best to the table. Number 2, you need a little bit of luck. Everyone's lucky. Maybe you get lucky, you beat Kansas City. Number 3, when they make mistakes, you have to take advantage of them. You have to make them pay for their interceptions or their holding penalties or their drop passes, whatever. You have to make the Chiefs pay when they make mistakes. And number 4, do not be afraid to go for it on 4th and short. This win fired me up. The Raiders did all 4. That's why they beat Kansas City. And I'm not hating on the Chiefs, but man, Kansas City has not played a clean game all year. Finally, the Raiders were the first team to make them pay for it. And that's good football, man. That made me go, oh, yeah. Good for the Raiders. Good win. And they did those 4 things right. That's why they beat Kansas City on Sunday.